Welcome to the Be Sharp live chat of by and for private music instructors. If you teach a musical instrument, you are tuned into the right place. And we're glad you're here. We're your hosts, Johnny and Luna. We are full time private music instructors with a combined 40 years of music experience. We discuss the issues, challenges, and actionable items needed to make a full time career in private music instruction and how to live comfortably doing it, working fewer hours while earning a six-figure salary. So sit back, grab a coffee or your drink of choice, like, share, and subscribe, and send us your super chats, and we'll answer them as soon as we figure out how to read them because this is our very first episode. This show is sponsored by the good people at MusicSoft, which is us, by the way. MusicSoft is academic scheduling and business management software created and designed specifically for private music instructors. You've probably found that after getting a handful of students, you're spending more time doing administrative work than actual teaching. You don't get paid to do administrative work. You don't get paid spending hours on the phone rescheduling with students. You don't get paid chasing clients down for payment. And you don't get paid to draw up semester long contractual agreements with your students. These administrative items are draining your time. They're draining your bank account more so than you can even imagine. Time is your most valuable asset. You get paid to teach, and that's what MusicSoft allows you to do. You don't employ a large administrative staff, so you need a system that does that tedious work for you. But the business management software systems are designed for big corporations with big budgets. Until now. Finally, you, the individual private music instructor, now have access to the powerful business suite of tools previously only available to big corporations with deep pockets. Introducing MusicSoft, your private music instructor business management software. Just like the car replaced horses with 50 horsepower, MusicSoft gives you 50 staff power, doing what a private staff of 50 employees would otherwise do to operate your music teaching business, allowing you to convert those boring and wasteful non chargeable hours into profitable chargeable hours doing what you love. And depending on your hourly rate, you could teach just 20 hours a week, which is only half a work week, and be making a six-figure income just 1 year from now. So, who's got the real job now? Welcome.
All right. Welcome, everyone.
This is our very first live stream. And I guess we should have prepared something to talk about because I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I'm not even sure anybody's listening, but we'll do it anyway. What would you like to talk about? Maybe we should introduce ourselves. Or should we just get right to the meat?
Let's get right to the meat.
What is the meat?
Um,
All right, put the steak on the stove.
well, challenges music instructor. Start with
Maybe we should introduce ourselves. We're music teachers, by the way. We actively teach music right now. We have a pretty full studio. We teach a number of instruments. We teach piano, violin, viola, cello. What else?
guitar, drums.
Guitar, drums. It goes on and on and on. Yeah, do you really play all those instruments? It doesn't matter. We teach them. We teach them. You know, I'm at the point now where I can teach an instrument that I don't even know how to play. Just give me the book and we'll start at page one. We open up the Essential Elements book. Those are great books. And you say, let's start reading from page one. Okay, little Johnny. Let's see, what's it say? It says take out your bassoon. I've never seen this instrument before. Let's learn the parts of the bassoon, little Johnny. All right, here we go. Let's just read along. Really, I can teach instruments that I don't know how to play better than I can teach instruments that I do know how to play. Like if I'm teaching piano, right? I've been playing piano for so long, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay, welcome to piano lessons. You've never touched the piano before in your entire life. We're gonna learn how to play middle C. Okay, been doing middle C for 40 years. Middle C. Put your thumb on middle C. Here's a quarter note. Middle C. Meanwhile, I'm like, I want to play all this, and I'm sitting here going middle C. But if it's an instrument I've never touched before, I'm like, hey, I get to learn a new instrument. Is that bad? Is that
Well,
tip? I know all the music teachers that's blasphemy. That's blasphemy. And we're teaching 5 year olds how to play. You have to be an excellent teacher. You got to know how to teach, and that's what we're gonna talk about: how to teach and how to run a business. We know you know how to play your instrument. You're good at your instrument. You went to school. You went to conservatoire or whatever in Paris or France or Beijing or India or Uzumbuco, whatever. You went to you studied you're a master at your instrument. But the 5 year old, they don't need a master at their instrument. What they need is somebody who can relate to them at a 5 year old level, a 6 year old level, 7 year old level, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all these different ages, or the adults that you have coming in, right? And the adults come in and they've never taken this instrument. And so you have to know how to teach. Yes, you have to know your instrument, but you have to know how to teach. There's three pieces to what we're doing here. One, you have to know how to you have to know your instrument. You know that. All of you know that. You know your instrument well. You're experts on your instrument. We know that. But the second part, you have to know how to teach. Just chime in here. Just interrupt me whenever you. We need a little buzzer here so you can, like, if you have something to say, you can push the thing and a little red light comes on or something like that. You have to know how to teach, and we're going to discuss that. And you have to know the business end. So there's three parts. You've got the first part already. You know your instrument. You know your instrument very well. You know all the technical aspects of your instrument, the posture, how to position your joints, how to blow in the thing. You know what they want. Not piano, but bassoon, sure. Um, and you know all of that. How to hold the bow, how to relax the fingers, all this kind of stuff. You can do all of that. But there's the teaching aspect of it, and that's what we've been teaching for about a decade now, full time. And so we've got this down to a science, and we're going to talk a lot about this, and in very specific detail as well. So over the number of episodes that we do, you're going to want to tune in and listen to all this stuff, because we I won't say we've gone through it all, but we're definitely a couple books of the encyclopedia on teaching music, and we've got a lot to offer. So there's the playing your instrument, number one. Two, teaching, which is something completely different. Whether you're teaching someone how to throw a baseball, or you're teaching somebody their times tables in math, or you're teaching somebody how to play an instrument, that's a teaching technique that has really nothing to do with your instrument. It's teaching technique. And number three, how to run a business, because you are running a business. If you're a private music instructor, you're running a business, and we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about that. If you could be, you could work for a school. You could be a music teacher at a school, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about everything. We've got the next 40 years to talk about all of that. I know I have a little bit of a New York accent coming out. I'm not from New York, but I went to school in New York, and everybody I knew was from Long Island. And so I picked up this horrendous Long Island accent. So when I say the word 40, I sound like I'm selling you pizza. Would you like 40 pizzas? Like I'm on the street. You can go ahead and laugh. All right, I've been doing too much talking. This is about time for you to cut me off. This is our very first episode. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know we're just going to keep talking, because all the live streams I listen to, they just keep talking. I'm probably talking too fast.
oh, you're
I'm
fine.
going to go and
You're
listen to this
sounding
back.
pretty
Oh,
good
man,
right
I'm
now.
talking so fast. Okay. I don't even think anybody's listening, so it doesn't matter. But we'll post this, and then you can all hear it. There's going to be millions of people who eventually listen to this live
And
cast.
they're going to go back to the first episode one day and go back and listen.
Yeah, even though nobody's listening now, I'm still nervous because I know people will be listening in the future. But I've been doing performing my whole life, so I'm not that nervous. I only said that. All right.
Okay, so you were saying everybody knows how to play their instrument and they were really good with their techniques. So it's about teaching. And it's funny you say that because years ago I've had a piano teacher who's amazing. She's got a master's degree in piano performance and she was teaching me how to play the piano when I was little. And of course, um, I thought that, oh, I'm gonna be learning from this great pianist. I'm gonna be learning. It's gonna be great. And the first thing she said to me was, "Oh, your fingers are too short. You're not going to be able to play the piano. You're just not born for it." And it was like complete confidence shock for me, and listening to her, and I thought she was the authority at the time. I was like, "Oh no, I'm never going to be able to play the piano again." And that idea stuck with me for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, that's how not to run a private music instruction teaching business 101.
Turn your student
Yeah.
away.
In America, we say your fingernails are too long. Who cares? Just flatten your fingers out. It doesn't matter. Let them have long fingernails. I don't care. Get ivory keys. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's it.
We're still
That's it.
figuring out the format of this show, whether we should interrupt each other or not.
Oh no, I didn't. Maybe I did something, but she had no interest in actually just sitting me down and teaching me from the very beginning. Like she was opening this really big, thick book and she's going into the theory. I've never had a day of piano lessons and it was overwhelmed. So, yes, you're absolutely right. I think knowing how to teach and being an expert, knowing all the techniques on how to teach a student is really, really crucial. You could be the best musician in the world, and if you can't teach a little child and build up their confidence and be patient with them, at the end of the day, that is not going to work out.
Yeah, the difference between the individual just coming out of college, the 20 to 30 age range instructor versus the 30 to 40-year-old range instructor is the 20 to 30. And this happened to me when I was starting out, and I know that all of you are going through this as well. You've got this idea in your head, like you're going to create these masters. There's going to be these people calling you up saying, these parents who are going to call you up and they're going to say, I want you to make my child a master at their instrument, a master violinist. I want them up there playing with, Cleveland and Vienna Phil and all this. I want a master pianist. I have bad news for all of you. Nobody wants their child to be a musician. Okay, we found this out the hard way. We started. They're not calling you up because they want their child to learn an instrument. I know that's painful. We may as well rip the band-aid off in the very first episode right now. They they could care less. They want their child, and here's one of the big gems that we have learned, and this is why you're tuning into this show, and you're probably learning this as well. And obviously, the longer you've been doing it, the more students you have, the more man hours that you have put into teaching, right? So maybe you have a lot of students, but you haven't been doing it for as many years, or maybe you don't have a lot of students, but you're doing it for a lot more years, right? It's a sliding scale. uh, you know 6 times 10 is the same as 10 times 6. So uh, the more teaching hours that you've put in, the more you're starting to realize that there's certain trends. When the parents call you up, they want their child to have an all round good academic general education. That's what they're looking for. That's why they're calling you. They want their child to get a good grade in fifth grade orchestra. Well, for fifth grade orchestra, right? The rising fourth graders going into, or the rising fifth. I don't know what the rising even means. If you're fourth going into fifth, or fifth coming from fourth, or whatever. But we'll just say fifth graders. The fourth graders going into fifth grade. If you have a parent call you up and they have a fourth grader and they tell you, when my child goes into fifth grade, they're going to go into orchestra, and we want them to be prepared to go into the orchestra class. So we're going to start them as a fourth grader learning violin or viola or cello or band or flute or whatever it is, right? They're not calling you up because they want their because in 10 years they want to see their son or daughter playing, the brook, yum ba 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 ba. That's not what they're thinking in their head. What they're thinking is, I want my child to be ahead of all the other children in the class in fifth grade. That's what the parents thinking. They don't. They if after a year of violin lessons. I know this is going to be painful for all of you because you're so passionate about music, and so am I. I was a music major. I have two music degrees, right? I have a master's in music. I've spent my whole life. I've dedicated my life to music. I used to have a real job, and then I was like, this is no fun. I'm going to go be a musician, and so we know how everybody reacts to that. But music is my passion, and so I understand it's your passion. But if after a year of violin lessons with you, or a year of lessons with you, the, the student turned around and told their parents, "I want to be a concert violinist," their parents would be like, "What? Oh my goodness, I'm taking you out of violin lessons. You're crazy. We're not going to have that in our family." Right? I know you don't want to hear that. That's the last thing you want to hear. But that's why you're listening to this show, because somebody has to rip the band-aid off and tell you the truth, right? We're going to teach you how to have a full-time career teaching music. And you have to understand this concept. And the people who come and they interview with us, and they I can't always get it through. It really depends on their age, but the younger ones, they don't understand. Um, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be judgmental, but it jump in. What am I trying to say? The-
But the parents' expectations is quite interesting when they come in. I have so many parents who are telling me, "Oh, I'm just kind of trying to find something for my child to do. I just want to do something where maybe can extend my child's attention span a little bit longer, or something that he or she is interested in doing just, for fun." Never any parents who come in and say, "I'm doing this because I want my child to join a competition and then develop a professional career, play for the symphony orchestra when they grow up." I have never had a parent who said that. Most of the time, they're just saying, "Oh, we just want the child to try something musical and see what happens."
Even the parents who are concert pianists, we have one parent who is an exceptionally good pianist. We've had another a cello student. The mom was a cellist. They don't want their children to be musicians either. I mean, they want them to be musicians, but not professional musicians. They want them to, they just want, again, to be just have a general good academic, uh, just an all round academic.
I know. I think you even had a parent who said to me, "Yes, we're investing all this money in the instrument and we've been taking lessons for so many years, but this is just on the side. It's just for, personal enjoyment. We don't want him to do this as a career. We want him to get a real job in the future."
All right, we're going to take a little break here, and we will be back in a couple of minutes. Stick around, and we're going to be talking more about being a full time music instructor. I think we're the only ones who are talking about being a full time music instructor. We'll be right back. Music teachers, tutors, private music instructors, how would you like to earn a six-figure salary in the next 365 days? We did it, and in the next 60 seconds, we'll show you exactly how. What would you do with a six-figure salary? Pay off your bills? Take a much deserved vacation? Move out of your mother's house? Buy that luxury car that's been on your mind? Or boat? You're already doing what you love, which is music, but you've probably found that after getting a handful of students, you're spending more time doing administrative work than actual teaching. You don't employ an administrative assistant, so you need a system that does that tedious work for you. But the business management software systems are designed for big corporations with big budgets. Until now. Finally, you, the individual private music instructor, now have access to the powerful business suite of tools previously only available to big corporations with deep pockets. Introducing MusicSoft, your private music instructor business management software. Just like the car replaced horses with 50 horsepower, MusicSoft gives you 50 staff power, doing for you what a private staff of 50 employees would otherwise do to operate your music teaching business, allowing you to convert those boring and wasteful non chargeable hours into profitable, chargeable hours doing what you love. Manage your client base with MusicSoft's prospect intake and legally binding contract creation modules. No more weekly or month to month payments where clients don't pay or they quit on you midterm. Instead, use MusicSoft's auto scheduling, flexible invoicing component. Watch all your scheduling woes melt away with MusicSoft's integrated concurrent drag and drop scheduler. From automated invoicing, lesson notification, multi user account management, and reports that keep your fingers on the pulse of your business, and so much more, you will soon expand your private instruction studio to its full capacity with seemingly no effort at all, allowing you to do what you actually want to do, your true love and passion. My true love and passion music, not administrative clerical work. After all, you could do that for a big corporation at a fraction of your potential income using MusicSoft. And depending on your hourly rate, you could teach just 20 hours a week, which is only half a work week, and be making a six-figure salary just 1 year from now. So contact us today to schedule your free demonstration to see how our MusicSoft private music instructor management system can allow you to achieve your goals and dreams. And if you already have a music school or manage other teachers and assign them students, MusicSoft's faculty management and room scheduling system will make managing your professional music studio smooth as butter. You have already taken the first step by beginning your private music teaching business. Now, expand your client base without the administrative nightmare that otherwise comes with client expansion while doing business with paper. Instead, use MusicSoft, which is consumer grade business management software. Contact us today for your free demo and and watch your business magically transform from difficult to easy literally overnight. MusicSoft systems for private music teachers and music studios. Contact us today. Visit musicsoft.net. Okay, we're back. We're back.
Yes. So, yeah, we were just talking about, I guess, setting an expectation for the music instructors. You know what they say is if you set the wrong expectation in the beginning, you're destined to be disappointed. So, well, all these years of teaching, we've kind of discovered that instead of expecting your student to develop into a professional musician and have all these expertise in the instrument, really, you kind of have to give the parents what they're looking for. And you know what's funny is that when you do give the parents what they're looking for, the overall education of musical education, just learning the instrument, introducing instrument to a little child or even an adult. And some of them, they do eventually develop a passion because
Some of them will get the bug.
they
And the
will.
better you are as a teacher, the more they'll love the instrument.
And magically, you accomplish the goal of turning them into a passionate musician through introducing them to music. And you don't want to get that backward. You don't want to convince them in the very first day, oh, music is what you want to do. Put off everything else. Don't go be a banker. Just do music.
Yeah, never tell the parents that you're going to turn them into a professional musician.
Right.
They will run
And it's such
and
a
grab
high
their wallet.
expectation in the parents' mind. Like they get overwhelmed by that idea. They get all worried. Oh, what about college? What about job? What about, future financial security and then all these things that worries them, and you don't want to worry them. You want to be the person who is bringing them solutions. So yes, that's what you're looking for. You want to extend Johnny's little attention span from 10 minutes to 15 minutes. I could give that to you. And you know what? You're going to get that child who comes in 10, 15 lessons and then it's going to click in their mind. They really enjoy piano. And it's not just about extending their attentions anymore. They're going to go home and tell their parents, Mom, Dad, I like piano. I want to keep taking it. I want to listen to music. I want to play music. I like my teachers. And you are developing a musician in their heart. And that's going to be a great thing. And lower your expectation. And through that, you're going to show a much more positive energy pattern to your students and to the parents. And the parents are going to be so much happier with you. And still, you're teaching the next generation of musicians, and that's a wonderful thing.
So that's uh, the everybody asks me, how do you get your students? How do you get your um, where do you go? Where do you get your students? Getting that first one takes a couple of months for those of you who are just getting started, or those of you who have kind of a small studio. Maybe you have another job and you'd like to eventually be able to just do music full time. You'd love to have you'd love to have students just coming in the door one after the other, and that's what we have. One leaves, the other comes, and obviously, in business they say word of mouth is the best kind of marketing, and it does eventually get to the point where you get to word of mouth. You don't start out like that. First thing, you have to have a website. I know it's so cliche to say you have to have a website, but it's like saying you have to have a car. If you don't, if you live in a developed country, if you live in any country, developed, undeveloped, I don't know where you're all going to be listening to this. Not everybody's, necessarily going to be in the West. If you don't have a car, you can't really get to where you can't get to where you're going the way you need to be. I mean, maybe some of you don't have a car, but for the most part, most people have a car, right? If you want to get to the supermarket and if you want to just live a life that's going to be somewhat efficient, you need a car. There's no question about that. Nobody really questions that. Everybody, at least in the Western world, once you get to be 16, Mom, I want a car. Give me a car. Dad, buy me a car. Right. So it's a given. And for some reason, when people they go into business, and you think you could either let the world know exactly what you want them to know about what it is you have to offer as a service. And the way you do that is by being the person in charge of that information. Or you could, you know, have some, somebody could write a news article. I've had news articles written about me. Some were very good and some were not very good. And it didn't have anything to do really with me. It had more to do with, like, was I advertising with that particular outlet and so forth. And if you don't advertise with them, they're going to get a little, unfortunately, it's just kind of the way it works. You'd like to think that certain organizations would be benevolent and they would just kind of do the right thing. But at the end of the day, we know what talks and we know what walks. I mean, that's just the way it is. You can either let other people define your service, right? You can have people come online and give you reviews and all sorts of stuff like that, or you personally can define the service that you give. And the way that you do that, the way you communicate to the entire world is through your website. If you don't have a website, well, first of all, you need to call us because as part of the MusicSoft, one of the components is the website component, the website update component. We don't really advertise that too much because we kind of like to under promise and over deliver. It's like, oh, it comes with the website. Yes, MusicSoft comes with the website. The whole thing is an online portal, and you get your website. So give us a call. Go to musicsoft.net. Give us a call, and we have that entire website component where you can drag in your pictures. You can update in real time the information that you want. But you got to spend a little bit of time doing that. You have to get the content, and when I say content, I'm talking about pictures and text. That's it. That's what you have to communicate your business to the world. And the way you communicate it to the world is through your website. Okay? That's what the internet is. The word internet has the word net in it, N-E-T. And if you think of what a net is, like a fisherman's net, it's a bunch of rope that's all connected at these little points. That's what it is. All these computers that are connected with each other. The whole world is connected. When when it's interesting because when you're an entrepreneur, when you go into business, whether you want to be a plumber or whether you want to teach music lessons or whether you want to sell crab cakes at the market or whatever, um, every time, maybe you've experienced this, and when you tell people, oh, I'm going to start teaching guitar lessons. What does everybody tell you? All these, you know everybody kind of like with a quote real job, they go and work for a corporation or a doctor, lawyer, people who just, they're not really entrepreneurs. I mean, I guess doctors and lawyers are in a certain respect, but it's more streamlined for them. uh, they all give you the same exact advice. When you tell them, okay, I'm starting a business, I'm going to teach guitar lessons, what's the advice everybody gives you? What's the very first thing they say, Luna?
What's the very first thing they say?
The very first thing they say, oh, I know Joe down the street. He gives guitar lessons. Maybe he could help you. Is it? Is this not the very
Yes,
first thing?
it is the very first thing.
Was that what you were going to say? You didn't.
There's your competitor down the
Yeah,
street.
yeah. I know your competitor who's going to be ruthlessly trying to kind of drive you into the ground and get you out of the business. Maybe he could help you.
Maybe he have extra student
Maybe
he's
he has
gonna be
extra students
giving
that he
to
could just
you.
give to you. Maybe, oh, really? He could help me? Oh, how? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'll give you his number. Oh, okay. I'm going to tell you how to deal with this, by the way. I'm going to tell you exactly how to deal with this because everybody's going to say this to you. You're going to have 20 people. You tell 20 people that you're starting a business teaching guitar lessons. All 20 people are going to say the exact same thing. They're going to say, they're going to look to their husband or their, who, Cheryl, she's teaching guitar lessons. Yeah. Why don't we put you in touch with Cheryl? Really? Why? Why are you going to put me in touch with Cheryl? Well, maybe she could help you. Well, how can she help you? How can she help me? Well, I don't know. You're teaching guitar lessons. She teaches guitar lessons. Uh, maybe there could be something there. Something there. Oh, okay, something there. Quote, something there. Oh yeah, something. Maybe I could. Maybe she should just give me all her students.
I think some of them literally says maybe they have too many students. They can't teach. Maybe they'll give you a
Yeah.
couple. I really had
Instead of
people who said that
if
to
they
me.
have too many students, they need to call us and get music off because they need a scheduling system desperately. If you have 5 students, I guarantee you need music soft. Because you will be drowning in administrative work and scheduling. It will be a scheduling nightmare. If you probably experienced this already, and maybe you don't realize it yet, but trust me, if you have 5 students, you need a music instruction academic management system to do everything for you. But we'll get more into that. Yeah, and that's the first thing they say. They say, yeah, let me introduce you to competitor. They have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea what they're saying. And so I've developed, this is what you do. This is exactly how you respond to this. If you tell somebody, oh, I'm starting a business teaching guitar, and then they turn around and they say, oh, Joe down the street teaches guitar. Yeah, I'll put you in touch with him. I say, I'll tell you what, if me just calling Joe down, I appreciate you giving me his number, but if I just call him out of the blue, it's really no different than me just opening the phone book and just calling anybody out of the blue and introducing myself. So if you personally know Joe, would you be willing to set up a time when you, me, and Joe, the three of us, could all go, for a drink sometime, and you could introduce me to him, uh, you know, is- and I guarantee you, once you put it back on them, and that's how you do it. They're going to be like, oh, well, oh, gee, I don't know. I've never. Maybe they will. Maybe you'll have the one person who's like, yeah, we'll all go for drinks. But although they're going to call up Joe and say, "Hey, Joe, you want to go for drinks?" And Joe's going to be like, "Why?" But yeah, Joe's going to be like, "Why don't you tell him to take out an ad in the paper?" Yeah, yeah. That's wise advice. Take out an ad in the paper. We couldn't have figured that out on our own. But put that back on them and say, just say thank you, because when you're in business, you have to be gracious. You're going to get the same, what's it called, the Peter Pan advice. I used to call it the Mickey Mouse advice, but then I remember there was a certain individual who had a song called Pressure, and you cannot deal with pressure. So there you are with your Peter Pan advice, and you've never dealt with pressure. Right. Like, we're not the only ones who have experienced this. Okay. So it's the Peter Pan advice. Oh, take out an ad in the paper. Oh, I'll introduce you to Joe. Everybody says the same thing because they don't know the inside scoop. They don't know the deal. That's why you're listening to us, because we're telling you the inside scoop. So this is exactly how you deal with this. You turn it around and you say thank you. No matter what, and when you're in business, no matter what anybody says anything to you, you respond by first saying thank you. Thank you. Even if it's Peter Pan advice, even if it's the dumbest thing you've ever heard in your entire life. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so, you know, forthright, but look, we're not here to give you stupid Peter Pan advice. We're going to tell you the real thing. Whatever it is, you say thank you, and you mean it, because they really are trying to help you. They're trying to do what they can, and they feel like, they want to help you, and everybody's kind of got this secret desire, like everybody really wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody with the real job, and I've been there. I've had the real job. I've been the government contractor. I've done, the corporate thing, sitting in the office. I mean, I was the guy always getting up to go play pool and foosball and everything. And they're like, the server is crashing. Where's Johnny? I think he's in the other room playing foosball, but that's more important. He's playing foosball with the other contracting company. Aren't they our enemy? Aren't we trying to drive them into the ground? I'm sitting there like having a coffee with them while playing football. Anyway, you didn't hear that from me. I would never do such a thing. I would never waste the corporation's time like that. Um, where are we? The all everybody who has a quote real job is like secretly envious of the person who goes out on their own and starts a business, and it's just the way it is, because they just like we're envious of the people with the corporate job. Oh, they have this regular paycheck, isn't that wonderful? But you too can have a regular paycheck. We're going to show you how to do that, and you use MusicSoft to do that with the invoicing and the billing components. um, but we have a long time to get into all of that, and so what am I trying to say here?
Website.
Website, yeah,
Yes.
I kind of got
So,
off on a
no,
tangent.
people give you all sorts of advice and everything. A lot of the things that may not work for you, but you absolutely do need a website. There are so many musicians that I have encountered that's trying to be out there and they're marketing themselves, whether for performing or teaching. And then you say, "Oh, okay, where can I find you?" And you can't find them. Absolutely not able to find them, and they say, "Oh, go to my this page on this website that nobody's ever heard of."
Yeah, my Facebook page.
Put yourself in a position.
Don't do
If
the face.
you're a parent, even if you're not a parent, you're trying to sign yourself up for service or sign your children up for service, and you go on the internet and you're looking for a contractor or a service, and you find this no name website with a person who is supposedly going to charge you a lot of money. There's no profile picture, there's no information about the individual.
And the email address is cutieflutygirl at gmail.com.
I know, and a lot of the
Not
times you
professional.
don't
I'm sorry.
even they don't even have a phone
Everything
number
is
for
image.
you to call. Would you call that person, or would you go to the contractor who's got a website, who's got 5-star reviews on Google, and they've got a phone number, and you call and somebody actually answers the phone? And it's like it is not that difficult of a idea to understand when you're hiring other contractors. If you were to call a plumber or a landscaping company, or if you're signing your child up for taekwondo or something, you want to know the person who's providing you that service is reliable, is trustworthy, they've been in town for a while, and they have other people who are their clients, and you can trust them with your child or with your own money, for the sake. But for some reason, when it comes to music instructors, the musician who have spent all this money on their equipment, their instrument, and they can't get themselves a website. You can't get yourself out there, and they don't have a business card. Or when you do go onto their profile, there's this one or two lines that write about them, and they have this selfie picture that they took like inside their car, and that is not the way to get people to
Sorry.
say, "Oh, this is really the person I want to be calling, and I want to be learning. I'm gonna go buy myself an $800 instrument. I'm gonna learn it from this individual, and she or he really looks like they're going to teach me this difficult thing."
Image matters.
It really does matter. Having a website, having all your information on there, tell them about yourself, put pictures of you, and really please do not use a selfie. Put professional picture, which EduSoft, we have all of that.
And
And
use a real domain name in if you're gonna put cutie flutie girl in your email address, have it be on the right side of the address, not the left side of the address. Okay. Be like, Jennifer at cutieflutieteacher.com. At least that's professional. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
no, it's very funny. It's I had
Now, if you're thinking, well, how do I do that? Call us. We will get you set up with that. Go ahead.
Exactly. I've had somebody with a professional page who's trying to advertise themselves to sell them their service, and it's kind of interesting. They've got these cartoon characters on the page, and they've got these different colored text in bold on top, there's purple text, green text, and none of the texts are the same size, and all the texts are kind of different font. I understand that might be that individual's personal taste, but from a customer's perspective, it just looks like it's really, really unreliable and not trustworthy. So please get a professional image on the internet for yourself. Get a website, call us, EduSoft, and we will set you up.
We have 2 minutes till break.
All right.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Get a professional website. And if you don't know how, that's okay. Your students don't know how to play the instrument. That's why they're calling you. But you as a business person have to call us, right? We can't call you because we don't know who's listening. You have to give us a call. Go to musicsoft.net and give us a call, and we're going to set you up with all of that. And that's part of your whole professional, it's called branding. You have to make a brand for yourself, and in this particular case, the brand is you are the brand. Like when you go to the supermarket and you think, oh, what are the brands in the supermarket? You buy shampoo from what? Procter and Gamble. Okay, so that's a brand, and you think, well, that's a brand. They make shampoos and soap and all that kind of stuff or whatever. And then you go to the computer store, and there's a brand, right? Hewlett Packard. Okay, there's a brand there. Well, what are we saying? We're not saying names of corporations. I mean, yes, we're saying names of corporations, but these are people's last names. Okay, Hewlett and Packard were the last names of the two guys who, they started in their garage, and they started making equipment in their garage. Those were people, okay? And uh, the Procter and Gamble, those are two people's last names. Your name is your brand. That's your name, your brand. You have to establish your brand, and that's a little bit scary. I understand that's scary because you're putting yourself out there, but that's how you have to do it. Unfortunately, it's just you have to get over that, and we'll help you get over that. But if you want to really, if you want to have at least, you know, 6, 7, 8 students, all the way up to 20 students, because really twenty is the target. That's what you're trying to get if you want to really be comfortable in life. I mean, we'll just we'll get back to this a little bit. Remind me when we come back that we'll get to the how many students do you want to have and how do you actually make that income. We may as well just tell them right off the bat. Right now, we're going to take a little bit of. We're coming up on a break, and we'll be right back in a bit. Music teachers, tutors, private music instructors, how would you like to earn a six-figure salary in the next 365 days? We did it, and in the next 60 seconds, we'll tell you exactly how. What would you do with a six-figure salary? Pay off your bills, take a much-deserved vacation, move out of your mother's house, buy that luxury car that's been on your mind, or boat. You're already doing what you love, which is music. But you've probably found that after getting a handful of students, you're spending more time doing administrative work than actual teaching. You don't employ an administrative assistant, so you need a system that does that tedious work for you. But the business management software systems are designed for big corporations with big budgets. Until now, finally, you, the individual private music instructor, now have access to the powerful business suite of tools previously only available to big corporations with deep pockets. Introducing MusicSoft, your private music instructor business management software. Just like the car replaced horses with 50 horsepower, MusicSoft gives you 50 staff power, doing for you what a private staff of 50 employees would otherwise do to operate your music teaching business, allowing you to convert those boring and wasteful non chargeable hours into profitable chargeable hours doing what you love. Manage your client base with MusicSoft's prospect intake and legally binding contract creation modules. No more weekly or month to month payments where clients don't pay or quit on you mid-term. Instead, use MusicSoft's auto scheduling flexible invoicing component. Watch all your scheduling woes melt away with MusicSoft's integrated concurrent drag and drop scheduler. From automated invoicing, lesson notification, multi user account management, and reports that keep your fingers on the pulse of your business, and so much more. You will soon expand your private instruction studio to its full capacity with seemingly no effort at all, allowing you to do what you actually want to do, your true love and passion. My true love and passion, music, not administrative clerical work. After all, you could do that for a big corporation at a fraction of your potential income using MusicSoft. And depending on your hourly rate, you could teach just 20 hours a week, which is only half a work week, and be making a six-figure salary just 1 year from now. So contact us today to schedule your free demonstration to see how our MusicSoft private music instructor management system can allow you to achieve your goals and dreams. And if you already have a music school or you manage other teachers and assign them students, MusicSoft's faculty management and room scheduling system will make managing your professional music studio smooth as butter. You have already taken the first step by beginning your private music teaching business. Now expand your client base without the administrative nightmare that otherwise comes with client expansion while doing business with paper. Instead, use MusicSoft, which is consumer grade business management software. Contact us today for your free demo and watch your business magically transform from difficult to easy literally overnight. MusicSoft systems for private music teachers and music studios. Contact us today. Visit musicsoft.net. All right, we are back. We're back. We didn't go anywhere, but we're back. We've been sitting in the chair the whole time. All right, where let's talk the numbers. Let's just talk the straight numbers. That's what you want anyway, right? The numbers. How many hours are in one work? How many work hours are in 1 year? 2,000. 2,080. If you work 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 8 hours a day, right? So 8 times 5 is 40 hours per week times 52 weeks. That comes to exactly 2,080 hours, work hours per year. 2,000. Now, let's say you take 2 weeks vacation, 40 hours per week. That's your 80 hours. So let's just make it easy. 50 weeks, 40 times 50, 4 times 5 is 20. That's 2,000 hours. So if you take 2 weeks vacation, one work year is 2,000 hours. Now you can work more if you want. You can work less if you want. But one work year, a standard work year, is 2,000 hours. So if you want to make a six-figure salary, which is 100,000, by figure we mean numbers. Okay, 100, comma 000. That's $100,000 or more. When we say a six-figure salary, what we're doing is we're saying $100,000 or more, somewhere between 100,000 and $999,999. If you get to a million, that's a seven-figure salary. If you're just earning $99,000, that's a five-figure salary. If you earn $100,000, that's a six-figure salary. So what you do is you take 100,000 the dollars and you divide it by 2,000 hours. 100,000 divided by 2,000 is, what is that? I should be able to do that. Let me get my
So
calculator.
it'd be like 100 divided by 2,
What?
which is 50.
50. So, but wait a minute. That's not, hold on. I'm confusing something. All right, I'm looking really stupid right here. I should have had my calculator all set up. Calculator. I hope I don't. I don't. I hope, I hope I don't destroy the live stream. Uh, yeah, we destroyed our last live stream. We had to start late. 100,000 divided by 2,000 equals 50. Right. For some, yeah, 50. That's what I was going to say. So 50. For some, I'm confused about something though. If you earn 50, if you charge $50 an hour. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I see. I was confused about something. If you charge $50 an hour, yeah, I was thinking the 20-hour work week and I was getting confused. That's a 40-hour work week. If you charge $50 an hour and you teach 40 hours of lessons, you're earning $100,000. That's it. Just charge $50 an hour and teach a regular 40-hour work week. Now, that's a lot of students, right? So when do most of your students come? They're going to come in the evenings and on the weekends. You might get a couple of homeschool students. You might get a couple of retired people who come during the morning. That's fine. But the peak hours are going to be on the weekday evenings, right? Because the students come home from school and then their parents take them to their lessons. And then, and yes, they take them to their lessons. You don't go to their house. I know some of you are traveling. We're going to talk about that. We don't have time to talk about that now because we're coming up in the end of the show, but we eventually they're going to come to you. Okay, that's very important. I know some of you are thinking, "Oh no, it's fine. I can travel." It's not fine, but we'll get into that. You have no idea how much money you're losing by going to other people's homes. And I know you think you have to do it because you're not going to get the business. You will get the business. Trust me. Uh, but just straight by the numbers. So if you charge $50, which is perfectly reasonable, that's at the low end, I think, of the national average right now, um, and you work a 40-hour work week, then you're earning $100,000. Now, let's say you and your spouse are both teaching music lessons. Well, then you have double the number of teachers, and I realize not all of you have a spouse that teaches, but some of you do. I know a number of people uh, who they and their spouse teach. Then you can cut your work hours in half. Instead of working a 40-hour work week, you work a 20-hour work week. And then if you work a 20-hour work week and your husband or your wife works a 20-hour work week, you're working half time and the two of you together are still making $100,000. That's pretty good. What's the national average? Like $40,000 people make? I mean, we're just talking the straight numbers, right? Nobody really likes talking about the numbers because whenever you talk about money, everybody says, "Ooh, money's dirty, money's dirty." Yeah, it's dirty if you're a politician. It's dirty if you're in certain industries. If you're just a musician, it's well,
If you use your money for goodness, then it's not
yeah.
dirty money. That's all it comes down to at the end of the day. And you are earning money and you are making music and you're teaching people to become musicians. And I'd say that's using money for goodness.
You're teaching them much more than music. When you teach people how to read music, those neurons in their brain that they use to learn to read music end up their brain uses them to learn how to read. They become speed readers. Reading music is far more difficult than reading, and reading is hard enough, but reading just happens on one horizontal plane. Music happens on the horizontal plane and the vertical plane. You have to read chords up and down. You have to read melodies up and down. You have to read the treble staff and the bass staff. Or if you're just playing, a single instrument, the notes go up and down on a five-line staff. You have to read articulations above and below. You have to read the dynamic markings. Your eyes have to jump all over the place. And I studied reading. I studied reading music in my master's program, and then when I started my doctorate, I didn't finish my doctorate, but this was what I did my master's paper on was reading music. And so when you read eye movement, the biological eye movement, and you have to play an instrument while you're reading music. If you're sitting there reading a book, you don't have to play an instrument while you're reading a book. But if you read music, you have to read across the horizontal plane, across the vertical plane, and you have to play an instrument while you're reading, right? So you're doing so much more. So when you teach these students how to read, and that's really how we get a lot of the parents by explaining this. You're teaching these children to become speed readers. Everybody's like, how do you become a speed reader? What's the secret to become a speed reader? Well, you have to work at it. You have to develop the synapses in your brain, the neurons in your brain, and you're developing that with your students by teaching them how to read music. So the what you're doing for their capability, their intelligence level, their ultimate wisdom, their academic education, that your students our students go to, I mean, I can't speak for your students, but our students go to the top of their class, not just in music class, but they go to the top of their class in all their other subjects because they just become better all round academicians. They become academic students. And so what you're doing, so don't worry about. I mean, tutors, they'll charge, anywhere from 75 to 135. Um, Psychologists, if you have adults come, they may not necessarily be coming to learn an instrument. They may be coming to you because you're cheaper than a psychologist. Just to be honest with that, but not all of them. Some of them, you'll find that. And if they just want to sit there and talk the whole time, whatever, go with it. A psychologist is what, 175, and you only charge 50 or 75 or 100 or whatever it is. But don't feel bad about charging. You've got to charge. So we're coming up toward the end here. But if you double that, if it's just you, if you don't have a spouse who's working and you go from charging $50 an hour to $100 an hour and you work a 20-hour work week, you're earning a six-figure salary. So give us a call. We'll get you set up with a website. We'll get you set up with the MusicSoft software so that you can run your business. You really do need it. And thank you all for listening. Go to musicsoft.net. That's musicsoft.net. You can get our phone number there, just in case our phone number changes. But definitely go to musicsoft.net. And thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Make sure you come back here next week, next Friday at 10 a.m. You want to say goodbye?
Thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.